Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video. This week I've been taking things rather slow. It's been the last week here in Paris of coolness and somewhat comfortable temperatures before the El Nino actually officially sets in. There's nothing more joyous than spending time outside in nature and taking my knitting also with me. I have really just been taking things very slow this week, not really doing much in fact, and just appreciating these last small moments before things get way too hot. Anyways, I really want to tell you guys a story this week. The story of how I became a knitter. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marina, and today I wanted to tell a story, the story of how I became a knitter, and I thought I would come to my favorite place to be on this planet, the forest. Like it's my absolute sort of inspiration for everything, but I kind of wanted to tell you the story behind it. So it was about 7 years ago, and I decided that I didn't want to be part of the sort of regular 9 to 5, going to work, coming back sort of routine. I was living in the UK at the time, and I wasn't really sort of motivated much by life, let's say. So I decided to move to France. I didn't speak a word of French. I don't even know how or why I even made that decision. And at the same time as I was planning and preparing to move abroad, I met my partner and fell in love. So I kind of took that as a sign to say, do you know what? This was meant to be. And 7 years later, I'm still here. And it was round about the time of COVID, so 2019. And, I was learning how to speak French. I had found myself a job, and I was trying to sort of integrate, if you like, into sort of French and Parisian society. But I kind of, at the same time, I wasn't really going anywhere. I had kind of passed that phase where just everything was just so new and exciting. I was living in Paris. I was living the dream. I just felt that, you know what, I need a bit of a plan as to where I'm going, what I'm doing. And it was round about that time that I absolutely just fell in love with French forestry. I had, as a Londoner who had been born and raised in South London, I wasn't used to this sort of fast space of the forest, and just absolutely just fell in love with it. So much so that I actually decided that I was going to do my degree in natural sciences. I always wanted to do a degree in something. I had tried to do it in law when I was living in London. Didn't really like that. So I decided, you know what? Let's go for it. Time is so short, and I don't want any regrets when I'm older. So I saved like crazy, considering that I was earning literally like national minimum wage here in France. I still don't even know how I did it to this day, but I basically paid myself to go to university and work at the same time. Boy, was that hard. So for the next sort of 4 to 5 years, I can't remember how long it actually took me in the end, but it was sort of, I did 2 years. I did 2 years part-time and 2 years full-time, and I got my degree. I got my degree in natural sciences, and I got my 2.1, which I'm so proud of to this day. Anyway, during that time when I was doing my undergraduate degrees, I was, and I still am, obsessed with living closer to nature, living almost off grid, you know, learning to live with the seasons, embracing the cold, embracing the warmer days, enjoying the warmer days, and almost slowing down during those colder months, embracing what life gives us, learning how to harvest and forage our food, learning how to make our clothes. All of these things were absolutely fascinating to me. And I was almost a little bit, if you like, interested at the same time in ethnobotany, learning how to cure illnesses and diseases with plant medicine. Just all of that kind of stuff. I was so into it, almost like that self-sufficiency. But also during my spare time, if I could call it that, I was heavily sort of reading and learning and just embracing sort of, if you like, a different way of living than that I'm currently surrounded by, living in Paris, and also having grown up living in London also at the same time. So I thought to myself, I'm going to teach myself how to sew. My mom is a fantastic sewist, and she does her quilting all by hand. Um, so I was very inspired by that, if you like. But I really wanted to learn how to sew my own clothes. That was my initial sort of inspiration for it. At the same time, as well as learning how to sew, I also taught myself how to do embroidery. I saw someone do it and I thought, oh my gosh, that just looks so pretty, so cool, so intense. And I thought, you know what? I really want to learn how to do that. Oh, there's a dog. For sure. Sorry about that. I was rudely interrupted by a dog. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I just absolutely just fell in love with embroidery and just making things by hand. It was kind of, it was really cool, if you like, to learn, like to start with something like this. But at that time, it was a little bit smaller because I was using thread and fabric, and just making something that I could use. So I learned how to make my own handkerchiefs. As someone who is incredibly inspired and enthusiastic for nature and the environment, I thought, how can I learn how to make myself a handkerchief so I didn't need to buy any more paper tissues that come in plastic wrapping? that was my that was kind of my logic and my thinking behind it. And I did it. I learned how to make a simple handkerchief. I made it, I think, with this linen fabric, and I still use those handkerchiefs to this day. Like, that was just the best investment I ever made. um, but yeah, I learned how to do that, and I told my mum, I said, I just learned how to sew. I learned how to do embroidery. At that time, my embroidery was just really, really not the best. But you're learning. It was your first time. Like, you have to start somewhere. So I called my mum and I said, I'm so happy. I've just learnt how to do this, and I'm going to make everyone handkerchiefs for Christmas this year. And she said, you know what? You need to learn how to knit. And I thought, isn't that for old people? Isn't that for grandmas knitting? She goes, no, 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 no. Like, it's really, really, like, kind of cool. And I thought, okay, if I've just learnt how to sew and embroider, then surely I must learn also how to knit. So a couple of months had gone past, and I met my mum for Christmas. And for my Christmas present that year, my mum taught me how to knit. And I must say, to this day, I think that's probably one of the best Christmas presents I've ever been given. She taught me how to knit English style. So in terms of my knitting, I don't knit continental, I knit English style. So yeah, and I learned, she taught me how to cast on, and I made myself, I called it my little bracelet. It was this little, almost like a little swatch that I'd done in stockinette. Don't think it wasn't even stockinette because I couldn't even purl at that time. I just learned how to knit. So it was in garter stitch. And then she taught me how to cast off. And literally, I can remember it from that day, or it was the evening time when she taught me how to do it. When I went to bed, I was like in bed with like my needles, like learning how to knit and just to get faster. And I came home to Paris that Christmas, and I just haven't looked back really. For me, my knitting inspiration comes from the environment and from nature. So learning how to knit my own clothes is really something that truly inspires me. Not only can I make my own clothes from scratch, but also using natural fibers. So over the last 2 years, I have just been enjoying, if you like, those moments, making my own clothes, you know, investing all that time. It does take a long time to knit your own clothes, but truly I cannot think of anything better. I don't watch Netflix anymore. I don't think I've ever had a Netflix subscription since I've been in France. But no, I'm not interested in any of that. Like in my spare time, literally as soon as I get home, I'm like out with my needles and I'm like into my clothes. Like this top here that I'm making, it is one of my own designs. I'm calling it the pearl top. I made it in a white creamy type of color, and I'm making it again in this sort of like orangey mustard color. And I thought this would be really nice, maybe with some red, like a red skirt or something like that. And it's taken me almost a month so far. And as you can see, I'm like nowhere near finishing. But I love it. I think there's nothing truly better than spending all that time making something that's just so special and that will just last. It's not like fast fashion where you buy a top and then, I don't know, it goes out of style the next year or it goes funny. So you can wear it the next season, but it doesn't look the same. And it's probably made also with some sort of polyester plastic crap that just ruins not only the environment, but more importantly, also yourself. Yeah, so, spending that time, not only obviously just making it, but also using the natural fibers, cotton, linen, wool, alpaca, cashmere. I mean, I've never made anything with cashmere yet. It's just a little bit out of my price range, but it doesn't have to be cashmere. Wool is just as elegant, if you like, especially when you mix it with alpaca, just that blend of wool and alpaca. Like you can't get that feeling or sort of knowing, if you like, when you don't handle those fibers. The frogs are getting a little bit loud. Like when you're knitting, and maybe it can to be a degree when you're sewing, especially maybe more when you're hand sewing your clothes. But when you're knitting, just holding those fibers in your hands, you're gliding it through your needles as you're knitting up the fabric that you're trying to make. It's a feeling I can't describe. It truly is magical. And then at the end, when you finish knitting your garment and you have something that you can wear and put on your body and you can say, yep, I made that from scratch. It's just, I don't know if you can hear me over the frogs. It truly is becoming a bit of a magical moment. But yeah, I really just wanted to tell you guys the story of how I became a knitter and how I ended up going from a natural science forestry undergraduate to someone who's now making knitting YouTube videos. For me, the inspiration and love I have for forestry and nature, it never goes. If anything, I use it to help motivate me and inspire me, if you like, to make, truly sort of special, handcrafted, completely from scratch clothing. I just think there's nothing better on this planet, especially these days. Everything is just so fast. We don't slow down. We're not thankful enough for the things that truly take time, and I think we need to remember that, sometimes just to slow down and truly appreciate, what this planet gives us. Thank you all for watching this little video and listening to my unique story of how I became a knitter. I hope it resonates with a few other people out there who may also enjoy both nature and knitting. In the meantime, I will see you all next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.